I now call the December 2nd, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk if she'll do the roll call, please.
Chairman Morgan.
Here.
Vice Chairman Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner McClendon.
Here.
Commissioner Chance.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Fuller.
Here.
Commissioner Hicks.
Here.
At this time, I'm going to ask Commissioner Hicks to do our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight and we thank you for everything you do for us throughout the year. And if we enter this time of Christmas season, I ask that you remind everybody that, this time of year is not about the presents and the trees and the decorations. It's about something much bigger. And I ask that you lay your blessing on us, all of us sitting up here tonight, and that everybody here thinks with clear minds, open minds, and does the work of the people for the people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'll ask the Finance Director, Alicia Searcy, to come forward to give us our financial review since we did not have a work session due to the holidays.
Good evening, Commissioners. We have before us the October 31st, 2025 financials. At the end of October, our revenues were $24,690,906 compared to the prior year of $23,422,589. So that's up about $1.2 million over where we were last year. That is about 29% of our revenue for the year. We're about 33.33% through the year. So, but property tax collections are really starting to come in. November was a big month for that. So we'll see a big increase in our revenue there. Our expenses for the year are $32,128,082 compared to $26,712,000 for last year. We have cash this year on hand for the general funds, $39 million compared to last year at $25 million. On our SPLOST spending, we had the 21 SPLOST. We spent $123,716 out of the 21 SPLOST on administrative, $669,633 on fire, including a new pumper from Sutphen. Public Works expenditures were $754,713. $542,000 of that was for LMIG projects. And our SPLOST revenue collections were $2,606,000. And we had investments, interest earnings that carried us to a total of about $3 million. And then distributions to the city of $795,000 and debt service of $1,832,000. So that summarizes the 21 SPLOST. On the 15 SPLOST, we had two payments to Balfour Beatty totaling $3,827,446, and then we had revenue in the 15 SPLOST of $25,452. So that's a summary of our SPLOST spending and our financials.
Ms. Searcy, under the expenditure line item on Superior Court, this is a positive, but we're down about $10,000 from prior year to date on expenses.
Yes, we are utilizing funding from the state on the ARPA judicial grant, and that's helping to offset some of our Superior Court expenses.
Okay. On schedule of revenues for the general fund and intergovernmental, we were at 373 prior year to date, and we're at 60,000 current year.
That's a federal grant that we got last year that we won't be getting again this year. So that's just some grant funding that we won't be recognizing for this year.
Thank you.
Okay, if you want to go ahead and move into our year-end budget amendment review.
Okay, we have before us the advertisement to advertise our final year-end budget amendment, which we do at the end of every year. We have to wait until the auditors are pretty close to being done with the audit, and we have some funds that we do not handle within the finance department, like the sheriff's narcotics account, jailhouse store fund, the CI commissary fund, and the sheriff's special projects fund. So those budgets are being adjusted because we have a more accurate reading on where we are after we get the audit numbers back. Within the general fund, that's going to be the first part of this budget amendment. We're not increasing our budget, but we are moving funding from departments. So we got 5 departments we're moving funding out of and moving it to 5 other departments. In the opioid settlement fund, we are increasing our fines, fees, and forfeitures by $12,000 and increasing our public safety expense by $12,000. On the American Rescue Plan, we're reallocating $1.392 million from general government to the judicial, and that's for that judicial ARPA grant. Within the sheriff's narcotics account, we're increasing revenues of $456,500 and increasing expenses of $456,500. On the juvenile court supervision, we're increasing revenues of $9,200 and increasing judicial expense of $9,200. In the jailhouse store, we're increasing that revenue of $551,000 and increasing our public safety expense for $551,000. In the CI commissary fund, we're increasing revenue of $182,000 and increasing public safety expenses of $182,000. Within the sheriff's office special projects fund, we're increasing revenue by $48,000 and increasing public safety expense by $48,000. So this is just to give you, since we didn't have a work session, we're giving you this so you can look at it. It'll go in the Times-Georgian this week, and then we'll vote on it at a special call meeting later in the month.
If there's no questions, we'll move on to a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move into item 7, approval of the minutes. Item 1 is the Board of Commissioners work session meeting minutes from October 30th, and the second is the Board of Commissioner meeting minutes from November 4th. If I could have a motion and a second to approve these as presented.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Item 8 is special presentation, and I have Commissioner Fuller is going to read a presentation on the 30th anniversary of Heritage Days. And then I think we have several members, well, I know we have several members here who participate in Heritage Days. And when we're finished, if y'all will come up, we'll take a picture with you. All right, Commissioner Fuller?
Whereas 2025 marks the 30th anniversary of Heritage Days, a youth development and educational program coordinated by the University of Georgia Extension, Carroll County, and whereas since its beginning in 1995, Heritage Days has provided thousands of fourth grade students from across Carroll County with an engaging opportunity to experience and appreciate our region's rich agricultural and cultural history. And whereas over the past 30 years, an estimated 30,000 students have attended Heritage Days, gaining firsthand knowledge of life in the 19th century through interactive exhibits and demonstrations that include soap and candle making, butter churning, quilting, blacksmithing, antique tractors, draft horses and mules, historical reenactments, and much more. And whereas the program's 19th century farmstead setting allows students to step back in time to learn about the everyday experiences of those who came before us, deepening their understanding of community heritage while supporting classroom curriculum in history, science, and social studies. And whereas Heritage Days continues to thrive through the generous support and dedication of countless volunteers and community partners, whereas the success of Heritage Days reflects the enduring value of community collaboration, education, and the preservation of our cultural legacy for future generations, and to all who have contributed their time, energy, and passion to making Heritage Days a treasured Carroll County tradition. Now, therefore, I, Michelle Morgan, Chairman of the Carroll County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim December 2nd, 2025 as the 30th anniversary Heritage Day in Carroll County, Georgia, and urge all citizens to celebrate by virtue of the authority vested in me. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Carroll County, Georgia to be affixed to this proclamation on this second day of December 2025. And it's signed Michelle Morgan, Chairman.
Thank you for the volunteers. If y'all will come forward, some of you that it takes like several, like more than what's here tonight to pull these days off. If y'all will come forward, and guys, we'll stand up and we'll get a picture with them.
And I will say this off the cuff, the American Legion and the ROTC students really supported us big time. I mean, it was really wonderful to have them there and just to learn about what life was like 80 years ago. So, excuse me, Michelle. It was my first time, and it was a wonderful experience. I mean, the kids are just good, so excuse me for being so long-winded. It's a good, and next year when we have it, come. I mean, it's really worth seeing what it's like.
We need some volunteers. All right, we're going to smile at Diane. Okay, let me see. Tommy, you can't see Tommy. Oh, not you. Commissioner. Oh, all right. Got everything. Right. 1, 2, and 3. Taking out the ribbon. 1, 2, 3.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Have I got time for an anecdote concerning Heritage Days?
You go right ahead.
I don't know if y'all remember, there used to be a big statue of a mule down there with the old farmer behind him, like he was plowing the mule. We had a group of these fourth graders down there explaining, you know, what everything was for and how the plow worked, and the mule had to pull the plow. This little kid was walking around the mule. He came back over there to me and looked up and said, "How do you start it?"
Okay, we're going to move into public
and then we had to
comments now.
explain that. I started.
All the more reason why we do Heritage Days. At this time, I'll move into the public comment section. There was a sign-up sheet in back. I will ask if there's anyone else here that wants to speak that did not sign up. But right this moment, we have Mr. Jimmy Capps back. So I'm going to call you to the podium. And again, Mr. Capps, you'll state your name and address for us.
I am Jimmy Capps, 453 Wayside Road, Carrollton, Georgia. And I'm here tonight First, thank you, Madam Chair, for having the nice lady from Keep Carroll Beautiful call me and explain to me what was really going on. Because I and a lot of other people, when I was here before, was concerned about you stopping recycling plastic because everybody said you did it because it was too expensive. Well, it turns out that's not really the case. You did it because the closest place you can take it to recycle it's 140 miles away. That's a 280-mile round trip. So the cost is very prohibitive. Not to mention the diesel fuel emissions into the atmosphere on every 280-mile round trip is way worse for the environment than some plastic being in a landfill, considering some of that plastic's going there anyway. So I want to thank you. You made a very good decision for financially and environmentally, so I want to make sure everybody knows that. Besides the point, again, some of the plastic going to be there anyway, so it had to be sorted, so a little more being there for a few hundred years is not as bad as the trucking on the environment and the expense. Also, regarding the new county facility, based on my experience being in management and senior executive positions for Kawasaki Motorsport USA for almost 35 years, I looked into the facility also. And I must here to say thank you. You made a good decision financially and for the county in that facility. It's very nice. And when I finally, last time, I couldn't find, nobody would say what the estimated cost was. My understanding now that it's just $22 million. And again, based on my experience, that's a very good decision and investment in Carroll County. And it sets a very good example for new residents and new businesses that may come to Carroll County. It shows that Carroll County is a very well-managed, professional county. So thank you. Also, thank you for the cardboard compactor at the Dyer Road Convenience Center. That's nice to be able to take it in there and just see it squashed up and know there's not a lot of labor going into recycling that. So that was a good decision, too. So thank you.
We're very appreciative to have Martina Griffin with Keep Carroll Beautiful helping us. Thank you, Mr. Capps.
Yes, thank you so much.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak during the public comment time? I'll ask again a second time if there's anybody here that'd like to speak during public comments. Well, seeing and hearing none, we'll move into our zoning session. So I'll ask Community Development Director Ben Skipper to come forward. I usually have my notes right here, but they're not on this one. Ben, do you have it written down?
What we normally say.
Yes, thank you, because it's not on this agenda. Thank you.
Sherry?
Thank you. So, okay, so the applicant or anyone speaking in favor of the application or the request shall be allowed a total of 10 minutes to present the request. Anyone opposed to the request shall also have a total of 10 minutes to present their opposition. If there are multiple speakers, it's a total of 10 minutes, not 10 minutes per speaker. Anyone speaking for or against the application on the second time will be allowed 5 minutes to speak in rebuttal. And there again, it's 5 minutes total for each side, not 5 minutes per person. So I'm going to turn it over to you for our first one.
Madam Chairman, Board of Commissioners, thank you. Our first application tonight is Z-25-11-01, which is a rezoning request for 4 acres from agriculture to commercial for a tree service business at 4169 West Highway 166. Parcel number 60-0029, land lot 86 of the 10th District. The applicant owner is Bobby Moorhead. This lies within Commission District Number 6. This went before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the Planning Commission recommending for denial was unanimous, 5-0. Mr. Moorhead, are you present? If you would, come forward and present to this board just like you did the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Bobby Moorhead, 4169 West Highway 166. Trying to calm down a little bit. I'm not a public speaker. I want to, I've got a tree service and I would like to use the building that we have to turn it into not only a tree service office, but also a shop and a place where we could actually sell things like the firewood that we try to avoid taking everything to the landfill. trying to recycle as much as we can, turning the wood into different byproducts. My mom's retired from the post office, and she wants to run the store if we can do that, sell things that we produce. Most tree services don't ever go to a commercial property. They don't grow to that size, and we're really not that size. There's only 4 of us, but we just want to start being able to recycle and start, small, but we've got the access to the property, so we'd like to kind of get in there, redo the landscape, fix up the land. The previous landowner before us, there's a spring out there. We're pulling car chassis out of it. There's just garbage dumped everywhere. We've really been spending the last year trying to clean it up. There's a lot that we want to do there. I looked at all maybe not all, but as many of the guidelines as I could find that, if I'm going to go to commercial, everybody needs it to be a certain standard. And I do want to meet that standard, if not exceed that standard. I've been here for almost 40 years, and this is my home. This is where I'm going to be forever. I want a place that's well known by everybody. I want to not just be a random tree service with all the other 20 out here. I want my brand to stand out. People come to us because they know that we do quality work. We recycle. We keep everything clean. We're just a nice company. I guess that's all I can really think of.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor with you?
My mom came. Yes, ma'am.
She can speak or she doesn't have to. I'm not requiring her to speak. I'm just asking if she'd like to speak. Okay, come forward. You still got time left. You got.
I need to stay up here.
I'm Bobby's mom. I'm so glad he started this business. He's done a great job. Lots of people calling. He does want to open the store, sell the goods and stuff. I want to help him open it. I want to help him bring customers in. I'll be doing the books. I'll be helping around. I'll be chief bottle washer and cook mainly. But it's just a family store. Is all it's going to be. At some point, maybe down the line, I might want to sell some plants, hanging plants, but that's the only thing I'm interested in. But I'll be helping him to sell stuff around the store, and just hopefully y'all let us do that. Thank you.
I also mentioned at the last meeting, I do want to put a sign up. I know I've already looked at how far off the highway it's got to be and the right height, width, everything. But I do want a sign up so that people driving by see the sign. But I want it to be nice. I don't want to just throw a sign out there that just looks like a random tree service sign that somebody's trying to bring in business. I want it to look like an actual storefront sign. And, the store idea is something that it may not come for a year or two. There's a lot of work to be done to the property to bring it up to standards, but the store is long-term part of the plan, if possible. But any questions or?
Not yet.
Okay.
So you got about 6 minutes left. If there's anyone else that wants to speak, if not, we can retire the time and see if there's anyone here who would like to speak against it. So.
Okay.
You good with? Okay.
I am.
All right, so at this time, I'll ask, is there anyone here who'd like to speak against the application? I'll ask a second time if there's anyone here that wants to speak against this application. Okay, well, seeing and hearing none, we won't need the 5-minute rebuttal on either side. So at this point, I'll ask staff to come forward. Commissioners, if you do have questions of staff, of the applicant, we can bring them back up.
Do have a couple questions for Mr. Moorhead, please, and also Ben. So, Mr. Moorhead, how long have you been at this property, and how long have you been operating out there?
I've had a tree service run out of my house since 2020, right in the middle of COVID. We bought the property last year.
So you've been at this property?
1 year.
1 year,
Yes,
operating already?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and I'm assuming you have a business license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I got a couple questions for Ben.
Okay.
as far as the zoning out there, as far as commercial, is that going to fit what we need as far as him having the sawmill out back also?
Commissioner Bailey, I think this is what came up at the Planning Commission meeting, that staff did not originally know that we was going to be running a sawmill.
Okay.
If he wanted to run a sawmill, that would require an industrial zoning category. Running a tree service is a commercial category because and to kind of go into more detail as to the why. To run a tree service, you call him, comes, cuts your tree, he takes your tree out to the transfer station, he dumps it at the transfer station. What I'm hearing is that he wants to harvest the tree, instead of take it to the landfill, bring it back, make another product out of it. And that's kind of how we got into that slippery slope with the rock quarry in Whitesburg. When we're taking a raw material, making some other material out of it, it moved out of the commercial category into the industrial category, if that answers your question.
Okay. It does. Anybody else have anything?
Well, all right, so all right, we're already operating a tree service on the property, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's zoned agriculture?
Yes, sir.
Is that?
Come forward, because we need it for the recording, and so we
Okay.
can hear you.
But your business license is at your home, right?
Correct.
His business license is at his home for a home-based business. So not to get the water muddy, but you can have an at-home, home-based business and run a tree service because you're not bringing the material home. They're coming to your house, Commissioner Fuller, cut your trees down, take them to the dump, and then they're done.
Okay.
So he is a licensed business at home as a home-based business. This location that he's wanting to go to is not licensed for a tree service, and that's why he's here before you tonight.
Okay.
As far as the sawmill, it's not a deal breaker. I'm not sure. I mean, I think Woodmiser said there was about 75 residents in Carroll County that have sawmills. I'm not sure that, I guess they're all just doing it out of their houses for the most part. So I don't know if that's something that I can take the sawmill back to the house and do something there with it, or if I need to, I mean, if I have to, I can sell it. If that's going to hold me up on being able to switch this over, it's not a deal breaker.
It is a Woodmiser sawmill, though. You're not
Yes, sir, it's
talking about a
portable.
commercial pallet shop making sawmill.
It's a hobby sawmill.
It's a hobby sawmill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got one other question for you, Ben. On the future land use map, am I correct that this does not fit in commercial or industrial? Is that correct?
It's agriculture on the future land use map, correct.
Okay. That's all I got.
Any other questions for the applicant or for the staff? Okay, well, hearing none, I'll look for a motion.
Okay, Madam Chairman, I make a motion based on the future land use map and also staff and planning and zoning that we make a denial on this, please.
Do we have a second to the denial motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions for staff or the applicant? Well, seeing, hearing none, all those in favor of denying the applicant? Any opposed to denying the application?
7-0, motion passed.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, we'll move into our second zoning.
Can I ask a question? Just because I know I'm going to be back next year, what can I do between now and that time?
So I'm going to direct you to community development tomorrow, and they'll go over all the steps with you.
Okay.
We'll walk you through what you can do in the meantime.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Okay, 10-2, a rezoning request for 1.87 acres from residential to commercial on Fairfield Road.
Correct. This is an application from residential to commercial for an undetermined use. The staff recommended denial. The Planning Commission recommended denial. The applicant is represented by Mr. Sewell. Mr. Sewell, if you would, come forward, state your name, and present your request to the board. How you doing? One other thing before I forget. I'm sorry, I meant to stop you there. We did have, in this world of scams, we did have a scam going around in regards to this application. Someone sent a scam representing themselves as someone from my office requesting funds to pay towards this application. So what we want to do is notify the public. No one from Carroll County will reach out to you for any money, for anything. Sorry.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Trip Sewell. I'm an attorney from here in Carrollton. My office is at 523 Noonan Street, just down the road here. And I am here representing West Street Capital Partners in an attempt to rezone 20 Fairfield Road in Villa Rica from residential to commercial. This property was bought by my clients back in December of 2023. At that time, the property had been used for a number of years for commercial purposes. Primarily as a commercial daycare center. That center has continued to operate until the present, and during that time there's been no ceasing in that operation. The property has been treated, used, and taxed as commercial property. So my clients at this point are simply asking that the property be zoned up to its current use, that being commercial. As it sits today, the property is essentially a non-conforming use to its current residential zoning, and I believe that's allowed as a conditional use because it was there prior to the current zoning ordinance being implemented. Since this property, there's no immediate plans to redevelop it. There is going to be no additional impact to county utilities, traffic, etc. I believe this is treated or considered as commercial property under the county's future use map. And again, I just believe that it would be in the best interest of the county, its citizens, and this board to have a good contiguous zoning program that zones properties being used a certain way as they are being used. I understand there has been some reservations based on the unspecified use, but again, I just want to reiterate that we don't intend to make any immediate changes. It's still going to be subject to all of the county ordinances, zoning, building permits, etc. And I don't believe that would be any different if a property was already zoned commercial and a different commercial use came to that property. Again, I believe it's in accordance with the future use plan of the county, and we just believe that this would be in the best interest of certainly my clients as the property owners, the property itself, and the county. So thank you. Happy to answer any questions at an appropriate time.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of the application with you?
I don't believe so, Commissioner.
Okay, I'll just double check. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this application? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and waive the next 7 minutes. Is there anyone here that would like to speak against this application? Please come forward and state your name and your address, please.
My name is Grady Hamilton. I'm currently living at 950 Moss Ferry Road, which was at the time 20 Fairfield Road, until my mom sold the property that is the daycare now. I just want to know, is in the zoning, if this property goes commercial, do they have to rezone this as commercial and keep the daycare up to the standards of commercial property, or a conditional use? Okay, because it's grandfathered in under the daycare as a conditional use. But I will tell you there's abundance amount of traffic. I live at 950. I leave at 4:30 in the morning. I've got cars coming up and down the road consistently. I know that's a problem of the county. But I don't see it being a 45-mile-an-hour zone. I don't see 450 foot of sight distance to build anything else there. We would have kept the property if we had known it was going to commercial. That was the number one thing, was we thought it was going to be a conditional daycare under those circumstances. But we have a lake also, which is drinking water for us. We don't want a gas station or store or anything like that, because the EPA getting involved, and you know, having the store that's currently across the street from us now has leaked into their gas into the people behind us, their pond, and that was their drinking water, and into their well. I don't know if we've done a study or something over the impact of traffic in that area. There's been several wrecks. We hear police, fire, ambulance all night long at Fairfield. The road there, Moss Ferry Road, which is coming off of there, I don't think that road can handle much more. Plus, you have one of the largest churches in Carroll County there, Midway Baptist Church. We have to have a deputy set at the end of the road of Williams Road there to keep that, road blocked off so it's safe for people to exit from the church. But we just kind of want to keep it kind of country there. We own 9.37 acres there behind it, which is the barn that backs up to the back side of the daycare there. But that has been my home, for years. But my mom is currently in Austria right now, so she did not show up. So, but we just, I just don't think it's a good idea to make it commercial property when it can be conditional as it is now and run as a daycare, just like it is. And you're still getting the same tax money off you would if it was a commercial property. It's basically a commercial property now. I mean, that's what we're saying. It's a conditional commercial property. If they do go commercial, I just want to know if it has to be upgraded, because all this stuff is grandfathered in, because you have to have handicap ramps, you have to have everything, everything else there to do all that. But the sight distance is a big problem. We have a friend of ours that we hit head on there 5 weeks ago, hit head on by a driver that had run the stop sign and hit her head on. I've been hit head on at that stop sign, but I just don't see. I mean, it's the drinking water and everything else there. For the purposes, just don't think the roads, or the road Sand Hill, Hewlett, I don't think any of those roads can withstand a commercial property. The traffic that comes in and out of Fairfield there is, it's crazy in the afternoons. All right, that's all I got.
We have about 5 minutes left on the rebuttal, Tom. Is there any one who would like to speak against this application with the last 5 minutes here? Ask a second time if there's anyone else that would like to speak. Okay, so hearing none, we will close out the 10 minutes. We'll go back to the applicant. You now have 5 minutes to speak in rebuttal to, or add anything else you'd like to add to the application.
Thank you again, Commissioners. Once again, I know some of this is going to be redundant, but there are no immediate plans, to change the property. That being the case, there will be no additional impact on traffic. Anything new that came there would be subject to all of the county ordinances, building codes, etc. Again, as far as the drinking water and things like that go, I certainly don't want to diminish anyone's concerns here, because I know that they are very real concerns, and certainly if I own property next door, I would be concerned about what might come here. But the fact of the matter is, my clients own the property. They are concerned about future marketability and putting the property to its highest and best use. As we sit here today, we do not know what that may or may not entail. But again, this essentially is commercial property, so we are asking for it to be zoned as such. Thank you again. I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
We've got about 3.5 minutes left. Is there anyone that would like to speak again in favor of this application? seeing and hearing none, we'll close that out. There's still 5 minutes left if anyone would like to speak again against this application. I'll ask a second time if there's anybody else that has anything else they want to add to the speak against the application this time. Okay, we'll seeing and hearing them. We'll close out the conversation point and we'll ask Ben Skipper of Community Development to come back up. And I'll open the floor to commissioners for any questions of the staff or the applicant.
Mr. Skipper, the current zoning is R1 for residential and has been discussed today in the application. The commercial designation was applied specifically for the current use, which is the daycare facility, and that commercial extension of classification does not extend currently upon anything other than the daycare. Is that a factual statement?
Close. With one caveat, it's not zoned commercial. However, back in '97, which I think my gray hair would show, I was here. And we had a small board where we did staff approvals with Roger Bickford, Larry Ratcliffe, Chris Robinson, the county planner. And where a homeowner or someone in the county wanted to own and operate a home-based business. At that point in time, you had to come before this board and we would put a sign up. That's what they did going back in history. So they got approval, which is what I think the owner's son said. They went back in '97 and got approval to run a daycare and a daycare only. And that's where they are today. So it's tax commercial because it is a commercial use. They got a conditional, for wording, they got a conditional use permit to operate a daycare, and they can operate a daycare legally. If the property is rezoned, this goes to his next question. Yes, any upgrades would have to meet current standards because this was built back in the '90s when the codes were different. So,
Mr.
yes.
Skipper, if the application was approved generically as it is being presented today, any type of business that would fall under the generic umbrella of commercial would be allowed.
That is correct, and that is the reason staff made a recommendation for denial, is because any commercial use allowed in the commercial category would be an allowable use.
Thank you. Mr. Sewell, I have a couple of questions for you. Thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
Do you know when your client first purchased the property?
That's in my notes, but I believe it was December 2023.
Okay. Since that time, are you aware if they had any designations of what they would like to see the property turned into, or has that been their position since they purchased it that they had no plans for change?
I don't believe there were any definite plans. I believe at one time there was an application submitted to actually put a gas station on the property. I was not involved in that application, and as far as I am aware, and I can state that based on my involvement in this process, that this is totally independent of any previous application.
Okay. And it is your position today that you have no plans to change the property whatsoever. You're simply asking for the commercial changing in the designation of
That
the
is
zoning.
that is correct. There is no immediate plan to make any changes to the property.
Okay. You spoke a few minutes earlier. Have you done any type of feasibility study on the property, or if there was any potential change in the categories of the businesses that could be put there under the commercial designation? Have you done any feasibility studies of what that would look like?
No, Commissioner.
Okay, you stated a little bit earlier that there would be no additional impact on utilities or services. So I guess my larger question is, if you don't know what you could possibly put there, if you've done no feasibility studies, you understand that anything under the commercial umbrella of zoning could be placed there, how could you speak intelligently that you know that there could not be any impact?
When I say there's no impact, I mean there is no immediate impact, as there is no planned change to the property. Certainly, if something else were put on the property in the future, then that would be proper time in my mind to do feasibility studies, figure out what the best use for the property would be. Again, it's simply already a commercial property in my client's eyes. But as to feasibility studies, obviously there are some restraints on the property simply due to its size and location, the types of utilities that are available on the property, and all of those constraints would have to be factored into an ultimate use of the property.
Obviously, this board does not handle tax assessments nor taxation outside of just setting the millage rate itself. But in the application, it was presented, and you stated here today that essentially you're being taxed because it's basically a commercial property. Do you understand that assessments and taxations essentially are applied based off the utilization of the property and do not necessarily follow the zoning of the property?
Yes, Commissioner, but again, based on the application, my understanding of taxation and real estate law, it is being taxed as commercial property, certainly not implying that requires this board to up it to commercial property. It's simply an persuasive factor.
And I'm just simply asking you to acknowledge the fact that you understand, though, the assessments and the taxation are congruent with each other because of the current utilization, not because the property is currently zoned in a manner that automatically makes it taxed or assessed in a commercial capacity.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think, would you understand, or would you think it's reasonable to understand as the applicant, without having a proposed plan to look at, it makes it very difficult for staff to give proper recommendation, all the different categories of in-house and other entities that are involved in government for them to give us proper feedback, not knowing what it possibly could be put there. And also, I'd say for the community as well, they're just understanding it could be moved to a commercial designation, but they also have no project or plan before them to give proper feedback. Would you understand or think that's a reasonable understanding of what we're dealing with here?
I certainly understand the quandary of not knowing what the future holds. Respectfully, I don't believe it's my place to say what's reasonable or what's not. That's for you all as a board to decide.
That's all my questions. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any more questions for staff or the applicant from the board?
I have one for Ben. And it's a quick one.
Oh, great. Speed up.
All right, it reads residential to commercial for an undetermined use. Okay, the phrase undetermined use has got me in a quandary. I've never seen
what that means.
I've never seen that before. I know what it means. That they want to change it, but we don't know why we're changing it. Isn't this a little unusual?
He wants to change it just so he can sell it for any use in commercial of anyone that could potentially buy it. And I think that's what Commissioner Chance just several Q&As went through. From a staff standpoint, my opinion could change greatly, but depending on what the use is. When the gas station was proposed, one of my proposals would have been a left-hand turn lane off Fairfield Road. They would have had to build an additional lane. There would be no access to Moss Ferry Road because your points of entry are too close. Because anyone going into Fairfield without a turn lane, you're trying to turn left, right. They bottleneck, and then now the whole intersection is blocked. Now no one can go anywhere because the group coming out won't let the guy turn in. So
I got
that was, and I think for the board's position, that was the reason we wrote it the way we did, was it at the time, he did not have his clients what their proposal was at the time of application. So, because we have to apply so far out, at that point in time, they didn't have one. And never came up with one to give him to present to this board. Right.
I am not, once again, I am not aware of any plan to immediately change the property.
Right.
So one simple question, just so the public can understand. He can continue, if this doesn't go through, he can continue to use the property as is, as a daycare right now with no problems.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the daycare is permitted to, we'll issue a business license today.
Thank you.
If there's no further questions, I'll look for a motion.
I'd like to say that I'm definitely a proponent for individual property rights, and I'm certainly a proponent of commercial tax revenues. But with that stated, Carroll County is in part governed by zoning laws and ordinances. As required by law, anytime a rezoning matter is considered by this board, there's a required public hearing. And the reason for that is to give the community an opportunity to hear the proposals for the uses of the property in question, along with specifics that they may have to offer comments or relay their opinion of approval or denial. Consideration also in the review process for this board's consideration is we hear from other departments as well, which would include community development, water, sheriff, fire rescue, engineering, and public works. Without a specific project before us or a plan, it becomes extremely difficult to measure matters, including the intensity of the impact for potential on the local community. For these reasons, with the lack of specificity, I make a motion to deny the application.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to deny the application. Are there any further questions or comments from the board? Well, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of denying the application? Those who are opposed to denying the application?
7-0, motion passed.
Thank you, Commissioners. I believe that's all I have before the board this evening. Can I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Sewell. We'll now move into 11, the business session. And there again, if you were here only for the zoning, you are not required to stay for the rest of the meeting. You are welcome to leave at any time. Item 11.1 is consideration of proposals for the security camera replacement for the Carroll County Jail project to be funded from the 21 SPLOST and authorized by the chairman to execute the agreement and take all necessary actions. We have Major Shane Taylor with us and Deputy Michael Griffin, our IT administrator, here to discuss this proposal for us.
Good evening. Appreciate y'all having us. Thank you. Again, Michael is going to be back up for me in case y'all get over my head with some questions. The camera upgrade where we are today, we last did an upgrade 2017, so we're pushing 7, fixing to be 8 years from our old system. That system that we upgraded was $1.2 million back in 2017, and what that did was it consolidated our camera system along with our door locking system, intercom system, which is a must in the correction world today. We've been having issues. We've lost some cameras, but it wasn't anything that we couldn't live with. The first of this year, we started having some major issues with the server. At that point, our IT guys started doing some research, and from everything we saw, we felt like we could do an upgrade for under $600,000, and I think the price that was presented y'all back in the summer may have been $598 to be exact. But due to that amount, we had to send out for a bid proposal. The other issues we have since lost one server, so we went from 8 weeks of retention on our video. We're down to about 3 weeks right now, and it could go any day. I love our cameras. I love it because it saves us every time. It shows that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and it's just it's a blessing to have, and we need to have what we do. So I appreciate y'all considering this. When we did the RFP, I believe there was over 20 different companies that come to the pre-bid and also toured the jail. Only 2 companies submitted their bids on time, one being Net Planner, the other being RJ Young. Both companies are high quality companies. They're very large companies. I think they're multi-state. Both companies do have offices in Georgia. Net Planner has extensive experience working in a correctional environment. They also have the state contract for the Georgia prison system. So they've got a lot of experience. The biggest discrepancies we had with the 2 was the requirements that we had in the RFP. The major one was we requested it be a Genetech security center with access control integration for, again, not just the video, but the door locks and microphones and everything all in one system. NetPlanner offered that. RJ Young did not. The system they're offering will not interface with our system. It will not work. We had asked for roughly 3 months of storage retention. What NetPlanner has proposed would be closer to 6 months, so they've exceeded that. What RJ Young proposed is maybe a month at best. There was a big discrepancy again in that. One of the reasons may be I think RJ Young does a lot of cloud-based storage. Nothing wrong with that, but you have a recurring cost. And when you look at the amount of retention we would get with NetPlanner versus what it would cost us to have that storage in a cloud, you're looking at $70,000 every 6 months just to have that amount of retention. And then that information is stored in California. We don't really want our videos out in California. We want them on site. We want to have access to them, and we don't want to have a large reoccurring cost for the retention of those videos. Another big issue was the equipment itself. We requested 130 cameras, which is a good deal, smaller than what we need. Obviously, with the approval of the jail addition, we're not going to be doing any of the old jail. This will be just strictly the large tower, which is the men's section and the booking room and lobby areas. We asked for 130 cameras. We asked for 18 that were 360-degree cameras, and we asked for 2 license plate readers. NetPlanner met all those requirements. RJ Young only quoted 118 cameras, which was 12 less than we asked for. Only one 360 camera versus the 18 we requested, and no license plate readers. So I think when you look at the prices, that's the biggest issue. That they cut about $400,000 worth of equipment that we got to have to operate. It doesn't operate. The only jail, I think RJ Young is a great company, but they don't really do corrections. They do more just regular video, and the cameras it's not the same. One jail that did go with the RJ Young, they love their cameras that they've got, but they also had put an RFP out that it would integrate their system. So they went with them. Well, it didn't integrate. So they're still where we were in 2016. They still got 2 different systems, one for their doors, one for their cameras. We don't want to go backwards. Again, we paid $1.2 million in 2017. So all that wiring and everything's already run, and we're looking at around, I think we still can stay under that $598,000 with what NetPlanner proposes, and that's who we would like to go with.
Any questions for Major Taylor?
Major, in conversations that we've had prior, thank you for meeting to go over the details of this. This would be commingling and would work well with a system that would go hopefully into the new sheriff's ladies facility that we're building along with the mental health wing. There would not be a software problem of overlapping the two once that's built.
That's correct. This will be 100%. Will interface with everything that we'll be bringing into the addition. The warranties are the same, basically, between the 2 companies. 1 year warranty for the labor, the installation, and all parts, and then the equipment that we're purchasing, the servers and the cameras, have a 5-year warranty.
And even though this is not going to be a cloud-based service, and I appreciate you all trying to be always as conservative as you can to try to save taxpayer dollars, but there is some type of backup mechanism. There's something that we wouldn't just automatically lose footage. From an IT perspective, you have the ability to at least back up, to have some kind of redundancy.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, the only question I got, and we talked about it today earlier, but just for the general public, this is the same system that the correctional institution runs also, correct?
Yes, sir. This is the one that the CI went with. I believe the county admin building, we spoke with Jacob Parsons, county IT. He highly recommends Net Planner as well, and our research indicated that based off of what we're trying to do from a detention center, they're the company that does this. You know, like I said, they got all the prison contracts. They do it in a lot of the other states. The only other system really out there that can do what we want to is called Vigilon. But that's kind of, they say, at one time was the Cadillac of the system, so it would be more expensive. But I believe from what I'm hearing now, a lot of the Metro Atlanta agencies that use the Vigilon are actually wanting to go back to Genentech for whatever reason. I think it's just more versatile for the detention center environment.
One last question. As far as speaking with the warden, they haven't had any issues with this company and very satisfied?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I understand this system comes with a 5-year warranty.
The servers and the equipment, the servers and all the cameras, yes, sir.
Okay, and we'll have to have some sort of a maintenance agreement?
Okay, so we do have a maintenance agreement within place. They both were roughly the same price for the maintenance agreement. We'll be looking at $4,500 a year, which gives us 36 bucket hours for them to come out and do quarterly inspections, updates, but they're also on call for services in a timely manner. I do believe both companies would have a reasonable response time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, seeing and hearing no other questions, I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Well, hearing none, all those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Major Taylor. Thank you, Deputy Griffin. We now have 11-2, a reconsideration of proposals for 9 fixed generators for 9 fire stations to be funded by the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency. I now have Fire Chief Wade here to discuss this.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, I come before you tonight to request a reconsideration on our generator project that was funded by the Homeland Security Grant. Bucks Electric has officially withdrawn their bid, and as a result of that, the committee would like to recommend Anderson's Electric to complete the project and install the generators at our fire stations for a total cost of $517,852.28. This is supported by that match that we did, I think, back in July, that was paid out of our SPLOSH fund, and that was $172,617.43. That total project with the grant is going to be $690,496.71.
Chief, there's a little bit of money savings there than the initial with regards to the change in the equipment manufacturer. Do you have any concerns about the equipment itself being a different name?
No, we've already got some of those units in the county anyways.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Fire Chief Wade?
Chief, all right, I understand a lot of the bulk of this price, my numbers are a little different from what I think I've got an old agenda, but the bulk of the price of this is coming from the Homeland Security Agency grant?
Correct.
Okay.
Only thing it cost us was the $172,000.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Well, if there's no further questions, I'll look for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further questions or? Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. All right, 11-3, we have our County Attorney, Stacy Blackman, to present a consideration of resolution declaring the results of an election determining the continuation of the 1% sales tax.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. This is a proposed resolution just to approve the official election results from the November 4th election, where 70.10% of the voters voted in favor of the continuation of the SPLOST and the general obligation debt, and it authorizes the officers of the county to take the next step to validate the debt.
Are there any questions? Well, seeing and hearing none, I'll look for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
7-0, motion passed.
Okay, these next several items are appointments to several different boards that we have. Item 11-4 is an appointment to the 2027 Corridor Joint Development Authority to reappoint Jeff Matthews, appointee 2, for his term that's expending in December. Do I have a motion and a second to approve?
Motion to reappoint.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Okay, 11-5, an appointment for the Board of Election and Registration to reappoint Cora Reeves and Catherine Huckabee to the Board of Election for their term expiring this December 31st. I look for a motion and a second.
Make a motion. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
11-6, an appointment to the Board of Tax Assessors for a reappointment of Jim Swenson to the Board of Tax Assessors to fill his term expiring this December 31st. I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Okay, 11-7, an appointment to the Civil Service Board, reappointment of Bart Smith for post 7 to the Civil Service Board to for the term expiring this December 31st.
Motion to reappoint.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Okay, this is individual appointments from each of our districts for the Water Authority. A reappointment of Trey Wiley for District 2, Bobby Holcomb for District 3, and Amanda Greenwood Smith for District 4 to fill the terms that are expiring this December 31st, 2025. I look for some motions.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and the second, is it going to be Montrell or Steve?
It doesn't matter.
Steve.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Motion 11-9, an appointment to the Three Rivers Regional Commission is a reappointment of Michael Johnson, the mayor of Temple, and Ernie Reynolds to the Three Rivers Regional Commission to fill the term expiring this December 31st. I look for a motion and a second.
Motion to reappoint.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Okay, 11-10, an appointment to the Ag Advisory Committee for District 5. Consideration for the appointment of Preston Hendricks to fill the District 5 position that was vacated this past,
What?
I'm not sure, I guess the last month.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Item 12, executive session is not needed, so item 13 is a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
7-0, motion passed.
Right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.